Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review, my long-awaited review, of the Japanese Tier 10 medium tank, the STB-1. So is it any good? It's okay. Can't say it's a bad tank, but it's not the pentultimate tank I was hoping for. I was hoping this would be the tank that made the Japanese line all worthwhile, but it's not. It's a good tank, but it's not a really good tank. And if you've seen my review of the Type 61, it's basically the Type 61 with a better turret and better camouflage because of the better turret. But that's about it. Other than that, it's pretty much identical to the Type 61. Alright, let's get into the review. It has 1,950 hit points, which is average for a Tier 10 medium tank. Weight of 38 tons is pretty light, so be careful who you ram. The speed of 53 kilometers an hour is quite good, but is only about average for a tank of this tier, and it does about 20 kilometers in reverse, which is also about average. It has a track traverse of 52, which is really good, but is also only about average for a tier 10 medium tank. The turret traverse of 42, however, is the second best in the class, the best being the Russian T-62A with a 48 turret traverse. But 42 is a couple above most of the others, and so look close up, it's quite maneuverable, and the turret turns well. You can keep up and turn with anything and shoot anything. Nothing's going to be able to run rings around you, that's for sure. The view range of 410 meters is probably on the upper side of average for this class, and the signal range of 750 is also average for a Tier 10 medium. Camouflage wise, the camouflage is much better than the Type 61 because it's a much lower tank. As you can see, the turret is quite streamlined and low. It's a very similar, or might even be almost the same chassis as the Type 61. Oh, not the same, but it's similar. But the turret is much lower. So you do get a better camouflage. And so the camouflage turns out to be about average for a Tier 10 medium tank. Which is good because we're getting sick of Japanese tanks with terrible camouflage. So once at least we've got average camouflage. Now the gun depression is the equal best in its class with minus 10 degrees of gun depression. So great for hill fighting or getting hull down. The British FV4202 also has 10 degrees of gun depression. Other than that, it's better than all the rest. Now the FV4202 also has 20 degrees of elevation, whereas this tank only has 13 degrees of elevation. So shooting up at things, it's quite poor. So in fact, it's not the worst, but it's one of the worst in its class. So if you're going downhill or you need to shoot up on someone on top of a hill, it can be a bit of a problem. Now let's have a look at the gun actually. So it's the same gun as we had on the Type 61, exactly the same, except I think it's got a slightly better rate of fire. So its rate of fire is 7.5 rounds a minute. It does 258 penetration. Now that penetration for a Tier 10 tank, well, it's the equal lowest in its class. I think it is the Chinese 121, also has the same pen, and the Backchat has 259. Other than that, they're all about 268 round there, so it's a little low, but it seems to be sufficient, and you can get up to 330 with premium ammo if you wish to use it. The damage is 390, which seems to be about average for most Tier 10 medium tanks. The 121 once again does do more damage. It does 440 damage per shell, but there are a few tanks that only do 320. So 390 is about the standard. The accuracy of 0.36 is very good at medium range and short range. It lacks a little bit at long range, and it is, look, not the worst, but it's kind of on the lower end of average as far as the quality of the accuracy. And the aiming time of 2.3 is also on the lower end of average. Some of the others are much better. But anyway, it's the same gun. So if you've had the Type 61, you know the gun very well. And in fact, you pretty much know the tank very well. It handles, moves, accelerates, turns, does everything pretty much identical manner to the Type 61, except it's got better camouflage and a turret that will actually bounce some shots. So how do we play this tank? Well, you play this tank, in my opinion, by after lots of experimenting, by finding yourself a hull down position and using the turret, but keep it moving, because the turret is very bouncy on these side areas and even the top, but the mantlet can be penetrated fairly easily. So keep moving your turret from side to side, or keep your tank moving so they can't get a good aim at your mantlet. The cupola can also be shot through, but really from the front it's not that noticeable. I think it's because of these periscopes here. You don't tend to notice the cupola very much, and it doesn't get shot that often. However, because this turret looks bouncy, I mean, you just look at it and you look at it and think, I'm not shooting that, right? So if any of your hull is showing, they will shoot your hull. They will deliberately not aim at your turret. And the hull is very, very weak, so you need to be very careful of that. And since the gun is close to the hull, it's quite difficult to just show turret and not show hull. So you kind of, in a way, need to pop up, shoot, and pop back to save yourself from that. You'll know if you're doing it right because you get hit by artillery a lot, because unfortunately most of the hull down positions are not protected from artillery, and yeah, they'll take you out. That's, if you're getting taken out by artillery a lot, you're probably playing the tank correctly, in my opinion. Now, what else do we need to tell you? Oh, the ammo rack can be hit from the front, either through the upper or lower plate. So it does get, the ammo rack does get damaged fairly often, and hits to the back set the tank on fire quite frequently. It's an expensive tank to run, and majority of games I play in it, I lose money. You have to have a really good game to make money in the tank. I think that's about all there is to tell you about it. Let's get into Tank Inspector, have a look, and then have a look at some games in it. Alright, so let's have a look at the STB-1 armor in Tank Inspector. Let's go to colorized view here, and as you can see, we'll start with the hull. The upper glacis here is 80mm thick, as is the lower glacis. That's very thin. You've got a small strip here on the middle with 110mm. Even here, looking at it, equivalent of 127. So any tank you meet can penetrate you frontally, even if you angle. Not a problem. Any tank that you come across can penetrate that. Well, it's saying ricochet there, the lower plate, but not the upper plate. However, you won't angle like that because the side is very weak at only 35mm thick, and you can see here it cuts right in here, high along the side. So you cannot really, even if you're there, look at that. So really, this tank you cannot angle at all. Now, the upper part of this hull is only 40mm thick at the front and very easily penetrated. The actual driver's viewpoints is actually stronger than the hull it's attached to. Alright, so terrible. Side armor, as you can see, 35mm thick, easily penetrated by any tank in the game. If they go through the tracks and the hull, it's 76mm. And at the back here, we've got 25mm of armor. And the top deck of the tank is also 25mm thick. Alright, so the hull is terrible. The turret is a different story though. It's genuinely a pretty bouncy turret. So this red area you can see here is 132mm thick, which isn't really thick, but it's beautifully shaped. So when I look close to the mantlet there, okay, it's not that great. 177 equivalent, still pretty good though. As soon as you start to move out, if anywhere around here, it just says ricochet. See that? As you're getting closer, even up there it's ricochet. As we're getting closer to here, we start to get 170, 180. And similar on the other side, once you move out, it's ricochet. However, the mantlet is only 116mm thick. And you will get penetrated a lot in the mantlet. People seem to know about it, and they do aim for the mantlet. And if you hold down, they do anyway, and they do penetrate it. There is a small strip though above the mantlet here, this pink strip, which is quite thick armor of 248mm thick, and in places that 240mm overlays, look at that, equivalent 624. So that's impenetrable in parts, that pink strip, which is nice. Hopefully if they're trying to get your roof of your tank, sometimes they'll hit that. The cupola isn't super thick, it's only 80mm, so if they hit it, they will pen it. And you've got a green section up there, it's only 37mm. So if they hit the cupola, they will hit it, but it's kind of not that noticeable. And on the side of the turret here, we have 67mm, nothing really, and the back is only 37mm, as is the top of the turret. So, yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention with this tank earlier in the view is, just like on the Type 61, the back of the tank is higher than the deck the turret is mounted on, so you lose your gun depression out the back. So once the gun gets to about here, it has to lift to get around the back of the tank, so just be aware of that if you're turning your gun round to the back. That's about it. Let's get into some gameplay, and yeah, that's it.
Let's get this show on the road.
Alright, the map is Muravanka. It's a tier 10 game, and we're in our tier 10 Japanese medium STB-1. Mostly tier 10 tanks in this game. There's a few tier 9s on each side and a couple of sort of tier 8, tier 7 scouts. I'm moving over to the hill position to do a bit of scouting. I've got a reasonably quick tank, and yeah, I don't know if anybody else is going to go there, so I'm going to go. There's a good position for this tank, having good gun depression, reasonable camouflage. Looks like the 121's also pushing over there, and looks like we've got an AMX 1375 for company as well. Now the crew is fully trained, and I have vents fitted, and gun rammer is fitted. And the crew skills, they have a mixture of, oh, we've got a 183, I'd love to get rid of that.
We didn't even scratch them.
Oh, bounce. Go for the lower plate this time, but it disappeared, so I don't know if that went through or not. I'm going to put another shot out there just in case. Looks like I went wide actually. One more, just for good measure. So, yeah, the crew skills. The commander has Mentor, Sixth Sense, and he's about half trained in camouflage. And the other crew members have a mixture of camouflage repairs, and I have Smooth Ride and Snapshot as well. And so apart from the what's that, nice?
We didn't penetrate their
Ah, bit unlucky not to penetrate there. Apart from the gun rammer and vents, I also have binoculars fitted. Now this leopard doesn't have a clue how to scout, which is why I'm doing the scouting here at this bush. So I lit up those tanks before. I'm waiting for binoculars to kick in, and there we go. We've lit up Jake Pence, and that's too good a shot not to take. So we take it. If it had been front on, I probably would have just sat there and kept in lit. But yeah, that was just too good a shot. His side onto me. So go back to spotting again. Wait for the binoculars to kick in and see if we can see anything. Okay, they've kicked in. Can't see anything, so that means it may be time to move to a different spot. Oh, no, there's our Jake Panzer again. He's front on this time. So I decide now, because they couldn't seem to move to this other position, but we spot this 1390 before I get to that bush position, so I have a shot. And managed to get a hit in, which is nice. The 183 there, 183 is looking a bit sick, which is good. Scared, really scared of those things in this tank. HE does do, is pretty mean to this tank. Side of a 110E4 would be nice. And our shell drops just a little bit low. Bugger it. So even though I said you really want to be hull down this tank, I don't actually get a lot of opportunity on this map to show you the hull down positions because I'm in on the hill here, but now bear in mind too, I am not a good driver of medium tanks, especially Japanese ones that have virtually no armor for the most part. So I didn't get any better than class 2 in this tank.
We didn't even scratch them.
So there will be people out there doing very well in this tank, much better than me.
Penetrate their armor.
And yeah, so take the way I play with a grain of salt. There probably is a better way of playing it. There's just not a lot out there on the internet at the moment about this tank, so it's a bit tough.
Enemy is hit.
Okay, so we managed to get one into that machine gun cupola, whatever it is, thing on the roof. Actually, it's a T110E4, so the lower plate and upper plate are actually quite weak, so I probably could actually be shooting at them.
That one didn't go
Turret's
through.
reasonably strong though. The T110E3 is very tough on the front and there's not much you can penetrate. But the E4 is not too bad. I'm basically taking shots at these guys now because I'm so far away and they've got so many other people to shoot at closer to them that they're not bothered with me. So now I'm just taking some speculative shots into the bushes with in case there's any TDs or anything in there, hiding in there. He's back out. This time we put one through his lower plate. The beak of the tank is quite tough. They don't hit the beak, but above and below the beak is alright.
Penetrate their armor.
So we track him. So we can line up a shot, proper shot this time.
Enemy armor is damaged.
See there, it dropped a little bit to the right, but not too bad.
We didn't even
Now that one hit him pretty much on the beak, I think, which is why that didn't go through. Oh, we got the side again.
Enemy is hit.
And a lower plate. He's moving back. We'll try and track him if we can.
Enemy armor is damaged.
And it looks like we do. Come on. Oh, somebody got the kill. Oh, well, we still should have got points for it, though, because we did track him. Yeah, I'm trying to decide here whether to move forward or not. Game's pretty even. We're slightly in front. Actually, we're doing alright now. 9-6. Oh, now it's 9-7, so they got one back. Just trying a few more shots in those bushes. I'm not sure if we've spotted everyone. Pattern. Oh. Well, that shell dropped and I hit my own tank. That dropped quite a bit, that shell. I think. Either that or I did something very bad. Our IS is gone. There's a little help from me. Alright, looks like it's time to move in. Actually, it's past time to move in. I should have moved in earlier. .121 is taking some hits. Our Artie's trying to get that M48 pattern, and I'm not sure if that was our Artie that got it or something else. Anyway, looking really good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks, and they've got 2. So we've pretty much got this in the bag, you would think. I'm just moving around trying to stay in cover. If this tank is out in the open, it is pretty fragile, so we've got to try and stay concealed. The 121 just got hit. And hang on, all of a sudden now we've only got 3 tanks. 2 of our tanks must have got hit. So they've got a T-57, is it a T-28? Or something like that. And we've got me, WT-100 and Artie. And okay, here we go. There's a 57.
Enemy armor is hit.
And that's the T-30 behind it, I think. But I think it's behind it. I think the T-30's on the side of the hill, which is why I'm shooting this T-57. T-57 gets a nice one into me. Take one more shot, and hopefully I'm able to get behind cover without getting hit again. Alright, so we're behind cover. Now, 2 tanks left on each team. We've got artillery, and they have a T-30 and a T-57. I don't have any armour, so I have to be careful about being caught out in the open, because I'll just get smashed. Artillery is on the other side of the map. So at this point I decide that I have to turn around and go round the other side so I can catch them unawares. Now read the comments. Noob, STB, lol, he, super fucking noob, why not help T21? Not sure what he means by that. Just camper. Yep, so all the lovely comments are coming out. I know I'm not a very good player, but hey. And yes, I made some mistakes, but you know. Anyway, I'm not sure all the asterisks are for. Is that because they're swearing? I don't know. Somebody else said something. I think it said to report. Oh, there he goes. Report him. He's a bot. Anyway, so you can have a read the comments. Quite funny. Now, so I'm trying to basically get round the other side and head back to our cap. Now, I'm too late. The T-30 has killed our artillery, so I couldn't get back there in time. I'm assuming what I would do if I was them is one of them cap. There you go. One of them's capping now. And the other one hides in the bushes and shoots the person who comes to reset the cap. That being me. That's what I would do. So if I would be one of them to cap, the other one sitting in the bushes ready to shoot the person who comes to reset the cap. Now I've been spotted, so I decide to dodge at the last minute, which works perfectly. He misses me.
Critical hit.
And we get a critical hit. Oh hell. So I'm dodging a little bit. Now I've reloaded, take my time, and we get him. Now I run like hell. So I've been spotted, obviously. Luckily he had the top gun, which takes ages to reload. So when he missed me, that was the finish of him. So I was lucky there. So now I'm just running, using cover of buildings. I don't know where the T-57 is. I don't know if he's in these buildings or if he's in the forest or where he is. I have to kill him because there's only 2 minutes 35 left. I can't cap. If I try and cap, 1, there's not much time left, and 2, he'll just shoot me in the open. So, what is this? Hey STB, take damage, don't afraid. Well, no, I've got no armor. T-57's got an auto cannon. I can't just sit in front of him and shoot. Alright, so he's spotted me now. I'm running like hell through all the bushes, trying and weaving, trying to hopefully reset my camouflage so that he can't blast me. Now he hasn't shot me, so maybe my camouflage is reset. So I decide now to go back into the forest. Now I've only got 2 rounds of normal ammo left, and then it'll switch to my premium rounds. Up till now I haven't used any premium rounds. Okay, we've spotted him. It doesn't look like he's spotted us, but I'm gonna have to shoot.
Enemy armor is hit.
There's one in. He's spotted me now. Reloading.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Oh, the second one didn't pen. And he hit us. He's hit us again. Come on, get some more shots in. Okay, we get another one in. He's got me though. Ah. 500 hit points left. What a bummer. Okay, so unfortunately we lost that game. It was fairly close at the end. And I got called noob a lot. And I did probably the noobiest thing I did. I probably stayed back for too long. I should have come up sooner. But and you know, saying I was sniping and all that. But yeah, you know, sniping did a fair bit of damage, so it was kind of worth it. Anyway, the T-57 managed to get us at the end, but not bad. All right, next screen. So we finished on top for experience and not top for damage. So I think the T-21 did the most damage with 4.7, and I think we were just behind that. So anyway, we did a fair bit of damage. The Leopard had the T-21 had a, or 121, sorry, had a great game, really good game. Okay, next screen. And we fired 41 shots, used up all of our standard ammo. 24 direct hits, a lot of long range shots. Now out of the 24, 17 penetrated, damage of 4,628, which is pretty good. Hits received 5, penetrations 5. We did hit one of our own tanks for 451. Unfortunately, you would get a high damage roll when it hits your own tank, right? Because average damage is 390. Always the way. Enemy vehicles damaged 7, destroyed 1. Due to spotting assistance was 1638. I thought it might have been a bit more with the spotting that we did, but such is life. Base defense points 30 when we shot that T-30 there. Now we did pull in some big credits, 63,000. We were fined 4,000, but repair of the vehicle 26, and ammunition 52,000. Very expensive ammunition. So we lost 20,000 a deal. If we hadn't had the fine, we would have lost 16,000. But on a pretty much you have to win and play well to get to make a profit. So yeah, if that was a win, we probably would have got a class 2 on that one. So class 4, a mastery is very hard to get. I think you'd have to do about 6,000 damage to get a mastery in this tank. Quite difficult to do for me anyway. Alright, well, hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and have fun. Thank you for watching my review of the STB-1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.